Yo, what's good, yo? I'm JB Hoops, and today I got my top 10 wings in the 2022 NBA draft class. So this video's got guys that are mostly 2s and 3s, but I've also got a few taller guys that I just think their game is more perimeter focused, so I've included them in the top 10 wings video. First up, I got a few honorable mentions, guys who just missed the cut, which are Wendell Moore Jr. out of Duke, Jalen Williams out of Santa Clara, and Dalen Terry out of Arizona. Now let's get into my top 10 wings. Starting it off at 10, I have Christian Braun, the 6'7" wing out of Kansas. He's a very well-rounded prospect, just won the national championship, and was very impactful for that Kansas team. He has a solid all-around game, he's a very good athlete, he can lock up on the defensive side. He's a pretty good shooter, knocking down almost 39% of his threes. He averaged 14.1 points, 6.5 rebounds, and a nice 2.8 assists, as well as a steal and almost a block per game. He's very good at finishing at the rim. He shot a very nice 63% at the rim. He's also pretty solid in the mid-range. I think he'll be a versatile role player who every team would love to have. So for now, I have him ranked as the 10th best wing in this class. At 9, I have Gabriel Procida, the 6'7" wing out of Italy. He's an absolute sniper, knocked down 40% of his threes this season. He can spot up, shoot off movement, and even throw in a few step backs and side steps. Whilst I don't think he has as high a ceiling as some of the other guys do, due to his limited self-creation ability, I think he'll be an excellent role player. He can play defense, has good length and quickness on that end. He's a very good athlete, and he'll just fit perfectly on the floor with any lineup, given his size, length, and shooting ability. So I've got him as the 9th best wing in this class. Just ahead of him, I have Patrick Baldwin Jr., the 6'9" freshman out of Milwaukee. He's a super offensive talent with excellent size and shot creation ability. He can really shoot it, even though he just shot 27% from deep this season. I think he'll be a much better shooter than that. He has a really clean shot with great mechanics and a high release. He's showed he can be a good pull-up shooter, and I think he has a really high offensive ceiling, given his size, shot creation ability, shooting ability, and passing instincts. The area he struggles the most is with his athleticism. He's a solid athlete, but he kind of lacks the burst to get by good defenders and put pressure on the rim. And sometimes it also hinders his ability to create separation off the dribble, which just forces him to take tougher shots. Also, I'm a little bit concerned with his defense. He came into the year as a top 10 prospect. Some had him as high as top 5. He was pretty terrible in the 11 games he played, but I think he's still got a pretty bright future in the league, and he'll probably end up being a steal for whoever gets him. At 7, I have Bryce McGowan, the 6'7" freshman out of Nebraska. He's a super skilled scorer, can score in any way, and he has unteachable size and athleticism. He has excellent body control when attacking the rim, but also very good touch on his finishes. He's a high IQ player, and whilst he was very inconsistent on defense, he possesses the physical tools to be a good perimeter defender. His swing skill will definitely be his shooting. He only shot 27% at Nebraska this year, and he was just a pretty streaky shooter overall. But I think he's a much better shooter than the percentages show. He has a smooth stroke with good mechanics and a quick release. Although his release point is a little bit low, I think he'll be a very good shooter in the league. So that's why I have him as a 7th ranked wing in this class. Just ahead of him, I have Nikola Jovic, the 6'10" Serbian wing. 6 through about 3 or 4 is very difficult for me to rank, and it's constantly switching, but just today, Nikola Jovic ends up at 6. He's a super skilled offensive player, he kind of has it all. He's a great spot-up shooter, can play on the ball, and is a very nice playmaker, averaging almost 3.5 assists per game. And he has super nice shot creation potential at his size. His defense does leave a lot to be desired, so if the shot's not falling, he might struggle to be an impactful player. But with his size, smoothness, shooting ability, and playmaking ability, he's probably one of the best international prospects in this class. At 5, I have Ochai Agbaji, the 6'5" senior out of Kansas. He's an explosive athlete, but also a crazy good shooter on super high volume. He can shoot it from anywhere, in any fashion. If you watch him play, he just sprints around the court, turns around, fires a 3 straight away. and I think he has the potential to be one of the best 3-and-D players in this class. He's a great defender with excellent length with his 6'10 wingspan, but he's also pretty built being 6'5", 215, and he's also quick, smart, and switchable, so I think he has elite 3-and-D wing potential. He's also a pretty underrated passer just because of the 1.6 assists to 2.1 turnovers, but he can make quick reads and always seems to make the right play without it showing up in the assist column. I have him ranked at 5 not because of the skill level, I just had to knock him back a little bit because he is 22 years old, and we know how NBA teams are with anyone that's not a teenager. So for now I have Ochai Agbaji as the 5th ranked wing in this class. At 4 I have MarJon Beauchamp, the 6'7", 20-year-old out of the G League Ignite. He's a skilled slasher and scorer and has great touch around the rim. He consistently makes difficult finishes look simple. He's a great athlete, very good in transition, but he's also good at attacking closeouts and getting by his defender in the half court with his explosive first step. But where I think MarJon brings the most value is on the defensive side. He's a versatile defender with a 7'1" wingspan. He has the lateral quickness to defend on the perimeter and the IQ and size to be an effective off-ball defender. Over the G League Showcase, he averaged 15 points, 7 rebounds, 2.5 assists, and 1.5 steals, shooting an insane 57% from the field. He does struggle with his shooting consistency, so that would definitely be a swing skill. However, when he played in college, he shot 40% from 3, so long term I have faith in him being a solid shooter, especially with more spacing in the NBA. Coming in at 3, I have Ousmane Dieng, the 6'10", 19-year-old out of the New Zealand Breakers. He's probably the one that I find the most difficult to rank. He could be at 3 like he is now, or as low as 6 or 7. But in recently diving more into his game for a video, he just really impressed me in some areas, and I think he has a lot to offer. He's a fluid and mobile athlete, has a nice shooting stroke, and he shot a solid 35% from 3 in the second half of the season, so I think he's a much better shooter than he looks like on paper if you look at the season stats. He has upside as a shot creator with his crazy size, he can score in ISO scenarios and has a pretty deep bag of moves. But what impressed me the most with Dieng was his ability to create a whole lot of separation. He has a really nice handle, and if he gets better as a finisher and more consistent as a shooter, he's going to be crazy offensively. But also I think he has some upside defensively. He has over a 7-foot wingspan with solid lateral quickness, but he also has very good shot blocking instinct and is good at stripping ball handlers. He didn't have the greatest NBL season, but with his playmaking ability, shot creation potential, and potential to improve on the defensive end, I think he's a top 20 pick in this year's draft without a doubt, so I have him as the 3rd ranked wing in this class. At 2, I have Bennedict Mathurin, the 6'7" sophomore out of Arizona. He's an excellent athlete, getting some crazy backdoor lobs, but he's also amongst the top tier of shooters in this year's draft. He averaged almost 18 points, 5.6 rebounds, and 2.5 assists, shooting 45% from the field and a solid 37% from 3. He's a pretty good finisher at the rim, however he struggles a little bit finishing through contact, but there's a lot of prospects who do, so I'm not too concerned. But with his shooting ability off movement, off the catch, and his athleticism to attack closeouts and finish at the basket, if he can improve and be more consistent on the defensive side, as well as figure the mid-range out a little bit, because he did just knock down 28% of his mid-range attempts, so that's an area of improvement as well. But just with a few small, minor areas of improvement, Ben Mathurin can be an elite 3-and-D wing, so I have him as the 2nd best wing in this class. So that obviously means my number 1 wing in the 2022 NBA draft class is AJ Griffin, the 6'6" freshman out of Duke. He's an absolute bucket, didn't get a whole lot of playing time, especially early on, because he was dealing with injury in the preseason. But after that, he just showed out, shot about 50% from 3 for most of the season. He can score from anywhere on the court. He shot 72.4% at the rim, a super nice 41.8% in the mid-range, with the majority of them looks being self-created, whilst also shooting 45% from deep. AJ Griffin has a polished game, and if he can regain some of the athleticism he had in high school, which he didn't really show a whole lot of this year at Duke, but I think a little bit of that was also the fact that he didn't get a whole lot of on-ball reps and opportunity to just play his game and was mostly a spot-up shooter. But if he regains that athleticism, I think he has the potential to be a versatile defender. He has a 7-foot wingspan, and with that athleticism, it's just going to be so much easier for him to get to the rim, lock up on defense, and just create open looks for himself on offense. So that's why I think AJ Griffin is the top wing in this class and will probably be a top 5 pick in this year's draft. At the lowest, maybe 7th. And at only 18 years old, he has so much potential. So he's my number 1 wing in this year's class. Thanks for watching if you watched the whole video. Got the top 10 forwards video coming next. The top 10 guards video came out a few days ago if you want to go check that out. There's a few guys that I wasn't sure to put them as wings or guards or forwards. So if there's a guy that you really think I missed, he'll probably be in one of the other videos. So leave a like, comment, subscribe. JB Hoops.